Hello class 12s. Now today I'm going to start with this topic on oil and natural gases, which is the continuation of this chapter, power, resources and minerals in India. Okay. Now when we start with the oil and natural gases, now let me just tell you, if you have your textbooks, please follow your text again, because we are following the reduced syllabus. So there are certain points that has to be underlined and studied. Okay. So let's start with oil and natural gas. First thing is, remember there are 13 important basins of oil bearing in India, okay, and it's been put into three categories. First one is called the Cambay Basin, Upper Assam and the Mumbai offshore areas. So these are the three regions. There are different areas, but there are three regions where you can derive petroleum in India. Okay, then come to the next one. Assam is one of the oldest oil drilling center, and in Assam it is in Digboi. Okay, and it is the only producer of petroleum till 1959, but later on large number of oil drilling center was been found, like Ankleshwar and Alibet in Gujarat and Ankleshwar, okay, and Mumbai offshore also has been discovered. So later on many oil drilling centers was discovered in India, okay, but the most important areas where oil was being discovered in the earlier time was in Assam, that was in Digboi, okay. So Digboi is the oldest oil drilling center in India, okay. Then you come to the next one, the regions like Upper Assam valleys. Then you have Rajasthan region, Gujarat region, okay, Mumbai high offshore areas. Just go through this. Now you come to the northeastern region. Northeastern areas also do have deposits of oil, okay, but the most important area, as I've told you, is Digboi. Then you have Moran, Rudrasagar, example, I think 3 is more than enough, and Digboi is the oldest oil field, okay. Then you come to Rajasthan, that is in the Barmer region, okay, underline that. Then you also find petroleum recent times in Jaisalmer in Rajasthan. Then you come to the next one, then Gujarat, Ankleshwar, Kalol, important areas. Then Mumbai, now you know this is the only offshore oil drilling center that you have in India, okay, and it has been located in the Arabian Sea, 176 kilometers towards the northwest of Mumbai. And one of the most important thing is that the production of oil in Mumbai high is very high, okay. So you have a largest extraction of petroleum taken out from the Mumbai high. Then you have also in the east coast, like the Krishna, Godavari, Kaveri Delta region also do have deposits of petroleum in the east coastal plains of our country, okay. But although we have deposits of petroleum in India, we do not, we do have deposits, but it's not enough. So we have to, obviously we have to import petroleum from other countries in the world. So when we are importing petroleum from other countries in the world, we have to pay a huge amount of money, okay. So keeping this in mind, conservation of petroleum is necessary, okay. Now you come to the next one, that is natural gas. Now first thing that you have to remember is, what do you mean by natural gas, okay. So natural gas, a simple explanation of this natural gas is that when a petroleum has been drilled, okay, when the drilling machine or the drilling pipe goes through the layers of rocks, okay. So when it's being striking the liquid, before it strikes the liquid, there may be in certain areas a lot of gases that may be present with the drops of petroleum, okay. So those gases with the droplets of petroleum has been trapped, and that has been used for producing of natural gas, okay. So natural gas is also another very important commercial energy that we have in the country, okay. The importance of this came in the 80s, okay, but today large consumption of natural gases are taking place in India, okay. So we do have a lot of natural gas obtaining from the Kaveri offshore regions, okay, along with Nanda in Cambay Basin, Tanot and Jaisalmer are the important areas. And under this, the Reliance company has its own natural gas deposits in India. This is the only private company, you have to remember that, okay. Then you come to the next one, that is power generation in India. Now two important things just underline in the text. Power is an essential input for the economic development and improving the quality. That means more the consumption of power, you know that the country is economically developing. That is helping the standard of living of the people. So it is acting as a use of power generation in India is acting as an indicator for the prosperity of the nation. Okay, so it has been available in different forms. Okay, you have power that has been generated from coal, petroleum, natural gas, which is also known as fossil fuels. You have power generating from electricity. Okay, and also you have power resources that is being generated from non-conventional sources of energy like solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, tidal energy, and biogas energy. Okay, so you have to remember that. Then you just remember the differences between exhaustible and inexhaustible, conventional, non-conventional, renewable and non-renewable sources of energy, which means, non-conventional means it can be used again and again. Conventional means once used is finished forever. Okay, so the next that you have to remember is that thermal power. Thermal power means the power that has been generated by burning coal, petroleum, natural gases is called thermal. Okay, so you just remember this is also one of the most important major sources of energy, okay, in India, and it has been looked after by the NTPC, that is National Thermal Power Corporation, and today the NTPC has around 13 coal-based, this is very important, 13 coal-based super thermal power stations and 7 gas and liquid-based thermal power stations. Okay, then you come to another important thing is hydro. Hydro means power that has been generated from water. Okay, so just remember that the first important area where this hydroelectricity generation took place was in Darjeeling. Okay, but somehow it was not a successful thing. Okay, so in 1902, okay, the first important hydropower project was being erected at Sivasamudram waterfall in the rivers of Kaveri in Karnataka. So Karnataka is the pioneer state in the generation of hydroelectric power. Just remember that. And later on, large number of hydropower projects was being set up in different parts of the country. Okay. Now, having said that, hydropower projects, I told you generation of power by making use of water. So having said that, there has to be certain favorable factors that help in the setting up of an hydropower projects. Okay. So there should be, the first important thing is to set up an hydropower project, the first important thing that has been required is that you should have a regular flow of water. That means the water flow should be perennial. Okay, with the same volume of water flowing throughout. And then you should have, when the water is being flowing in this area, there should be the presence of natural waterfalls. Because if you have a natural waterfall, the water which is being falling from a great height helps the turbine to flow, or helps the turbine to move and generate power. But supposing in areas where you have plenty of water but these waterfalls are not being present, then artificial walls like dams has to be constructed. Okay, and another one is readily available market. That means wherever you have this hydropower projects, okay, very close to this area, consumption center should be there. That means there should be either an industrial area being present or an urban center where the demand for electricity is going to be very high. Okay, another one is, the first investment on HEP, hydroelectric power, is very high, but on a long run, investment on a first initial cost is very high, but for a long run, it becomes much more cheaper. Okay, so remember that. And just remember, Karnataka is the pioneer state. Okay, and more than northern part of our country, the southern regions have a great potential for the generation of hydroelectricity. Okay, we do have northern part of our country also because of perennial flow of water, presence of natural waterfalls and all that. Generation of hydroelectricity is there in the northern regions, but South India also do have a great potential for the general, and especially it is the Western Ghats areas. Okay, and especially in states like Tamil Nadu. Okay, then you come to the next one. Nuclear power. Nuclear power means a power that has been generated by making use of nuclear materials like uranium, thorium, beryllium, okay, plutonium. Okay, so today India has its own possession in the production of nuclear power. We don't have to depend on other countries in the world. We have a large number of nuclear power stations in our country. There are some examples of these nuclear power centers. Like for example, you have this Tarapur near Mumbai, Rawabhata in Kota in Rajasthan, Kalpakam in Tamil Nadu, Narora in Uttar Pradesh, Kaiga in Karnataka, and Kakrapara in Gujarat are some of the nuclear power plants that we have in the country. And it's all been looked after by the Bhabha Atomic Research Center. Okay, so just remember, this is the energy that has been derived by making use of nuclear materials like uranium, thorium, beryllium, etc. Okay, so depending on those Three types of regions have been identified depending on the sources of electricity that is being used. There are some areas like they are making use of more of hydroelectricity, like for example Karnataka, Kerala, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, they are making more use of hydroelectricity. For them, generation of hydroelectricity becomes much more cheaper than making use of those power that has been generated from coal and petroleum and all that, okay. So it is an hydroelectric dominated region. Then you have next area dominating is the thermal power. Delhi, Haryana, Punjab, Assam, West Bengal, they mostly use thermal power. And nuclear power, Rajasthan is making use of nuclear power. Okay, so remember that area. Then you come to the last portion of this power and mineral resources, and that is the non-conventional sources of energy. Now, non-conventional sources of energy, excuse me, as I've told you, is it's a renewable source of energy, inexhaustible, which means as long as you have this power that is being there, okay, as long as you can trap the energy, you'll be able to make use of it again and again. So it's called an unconventional source of energy. It's also known as an alternative sources of energy. Okay, so when I say this, there are certain things that you have to remember. One is the characteristic features. Okay, like whether now non-conventional source of energy means energy that has been derived from the sun, the wind, the tidal waves, okay, from geothermal energy, okay, from biogas. So all this energy that has been derived from these these resources are known as non-conventional sources of energy. And almost the advantages of all this non-conventional sources of energy is almost the same. Like they are environmentally friendly, it is much more cheaper, maintenance cost is less, okay, there's no pollution, okay. So these are the advantages. So for everything you can write the same advantages, okay. So starting with the non-conventional sources of energy, the first one is the solar energy. Now solar energy means energy that has been derived from the sun. Okay, and India is one country which is being blessed with the solar energy, and the reason behind is because India lies in the tropical region where the Tropic of Cancer divides the country into two halves, and in the tropical regions which is getting the vertical rays and the direct rays of the sun, where the heat is very intensity of the heat is very high, so you can trap the energy there. So since the energy that has been trapped, there are a large number of things from solar energy are being obtained, like solar heaters, solar cookers, solar street lamps, okay. So all these have been obtained from solar energy. Then you have a next one called a geothermal energy. Geothermal energy means energy that has been derived from the interior of the earth's surface, okay. So the most important area where you can generate more of geothermal is in the state of Himachal Pradesh, that is Manikaran. Okay, and the other one is in Ladakh, the Puga Valley, okay. Then another one is the wind energy. Wind energy means the energy that has been derived from the wind, okay. If you go to peninsular regions or the coastal areas, you'll find installation of large number of windmills, okay. So this windmills that is being present over there, when the wind blows, the blades of this wind moves and helps the turbine to move and produce energy. Okay, so you'll find most of this wind energy being derived in the peninsular region. Okay, the most important one is in Tamil Nadu, from Nagarkoli to Madurai. Okay, then beside this, you also have in the Khambat region in Gujarat. The next you have is the biogas. A biogas is from the remains of plants and animal matters. Okay. The energy that has been derived from plants and animal matters, byproducts, okay, it is known as a biogas, and it is also used for cooking, lighting and all that, okay, and it is much more cleaner, okay, and the leftovers, and especially the cattle dungs or the cow dungs and all is the basic raw material that is being used, and the leftovers is being used as a fertilizer, okay. So biogas is also very important non-conventional sources of energy, and it also becomes a very important raw material for producing fertilizers, okay. So these are the non-conventional sources of energy, okay. And as I've already told you, it also has a lot of advantages, like it is environmentally friendly, there is no it's environmentally friendly. You can see that it is cheaper, it is it can be used again and again, maintenance cost is less, initial cost may be high, but in a long run it becomes much more cheaper. So these are the advantages that you can write for all the non-conventional sources of energy. So with this, I finish with minerals and power resources. That is chapter 16. Thank you.